So I'm sitting here in the heart of London, and, being pensive as I tend to. And I was telling a new friend about my relational history, as one does. And at the end of telling my experiences, I said, yeah, it's all pretty bleak, my relational history. And he said, it's almost like it hasn't even begun. It hasn't even started yet. And that evoked some interesting feelings. That's a different way of thinking about it. I've had a lot of negative experiences and a lot of situationships and abuse and being used and just these casual encounters, and none of it was, love or real intimacy or any, beautiful thing, which I lament. But thinking about it like it hasn't even started yet. I mean, the pain has been around a long time. The pain has started, but yeah, the love, it hasn't started yet. I mean, it's kind of comforting in a way, because it's like, oh, that's not all there is, or oh, that's not what, love is supposed to be. That's not what, like, a real relationship is like. It's like there's two different categories of experience, and I haven't had the good or positive, soothing experience yet. And that is what I'm thinking about when I'm walking around London by myself with my camera, which is a very mindful time. Photography is very solitary. It's just you viewing the world's details through a personal lens, and the rest of the world doesn't matter, and there's a million people walking around, and they don't matter, and you don't matter to them. It's kind of freeing. But then it's just you and the sensory experience and the camera and the composition. And there's a lot of space. There's a lot of empty space for thoughts. And so I'm thinking about the things that have hurt me deeply. And it's not really necessary. It's really not necessary to be thinking about anything, but my brain's used to that. So I don't want to put pressure on it as a rebirth or a new, chapter, a new opportunity, but realistically, we're constantly phasing into a new reality, and I am in a different reality than I was when I was hurt. I'm still hurting, but I'm hurting in a different way, and the reality is expanding into a lot more perspective, and that's thanks largely to being exposed to a lot of different individuals who have different perspectives that can offer me mirroring to validate and say, yes, that was evil, this is good. And the best thing is when both people in the moment are having a relational experience and they're both saying, yes, this is good right here is good. Because when you're mindful that things are good right now between two people, then you understand what is healthy and what is, a positive experience. And then when you feel that again, it becomes more normal. Basically what I'm saying is, in an overly complicated way, I'm saying that I'm meeting and having experiences with a lot of good people and we are sharing goodness and we are creating goodness, and other people are witnessing that goodness and they are reflecting it back to us, and sort of the funkiness is being reflected back to me and I'm sharing it, and it's very beautiful. And even though there's still, heartache and I still have fears, just the fears of, just unmet needs, essentially. Those needs are, the void is slowly being filled with positive experiences that are saying, you know what, that was wrong, that was evil what was being done, and it was right to feel unsafe in those moments, and it was right to feel terrified in those moments, and it was right to feel depressed or ashamed, like all of those things. That was actually correct, because those survival mechanisms were activated in those experiences. And then it's saying it's okay to then relinquish that, and that it's okay to feel positive experiences now. It was my nervous system was right in what it was doing, and my brain is right now in what it's doing. It's just that it's a little out of date, if that makes sense. It's programmed for past experiences that are no longer as relevant today. The brain is just backlogged. It needs to catch up to what's going on today. That's why I say my psyche, my brain, the reptilian parts of my brain have not caught up with my more developed parts of the brain. So I keep worrying about things that happened because they were worth worrying about. But they are not worth worrying about now. And then I get nervous because I'm like, okay, if I'm not worrying about the past, then I need to worry about the future, which is even more unpredictable and scary. I feel like I am moving with the flow of life, and all I just wish is that, my heart was soothed from those abusive experiences. I wish that I had those needs met at the time. I wish that I could experience them now, because it was so brutally unhealthy and evil. And I just wish to. So my body is constantly wanting to play catch up and say, we need this right now, and we don't have it. And this is constantly, just almost 24/7, my body is saying, we need this, and this isn't happening, and that happened, and that wasn't supposed to happen. It's yeah, I just wish that it could be soothed with goodness, but I guess it takes a lot of new experiences along the path of goodness to find different varieties of goodness. For example, I found friendship. And my heart is so broken that it's hard to even internalize that. But I have found friendship. I have found union with other human beings, and I've found a community, a large community, an ever-expanding community. And I do have a seat at the table, and I just wish I could have been there earlier, and I wish I could have been there earlier, because I really struggled to find a community, and I struggled to find friends. And now, I long for repair of other wounds that are really severe. But I am in, the meantime, not to neglect the importance and relevance of friendship, but I am in the meantime of those wounds not being healed. Some wounds are being healed, is what I'm saying. Some attachment wounds are being healed because I have friends, and because I have safe friends. And I myself am being safe. I'm very safe. I'm not perfect. I don't streamline everything ideally, but I'm safe. My body is healthy and safe. My work is safe. I don't put myself in unsafe situations. I am safe. And I'm embodying goodness, and it's all good, but it's still frustrating because when you are around good people, you can just sort of be like, that was really evil. And it still shocks me how evil it all was. And just certain things were so wrong. They shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't have happened. And I didn't deserve that. And I am afraid that that's going to happen again. But mostly I'm afraid that those wounds are never going to be repaired. That I'm never going to find an equal measure of goodness to compensate and balance out the evil. That's what I'm afraid of. Because for all the lack of love that I've experienced, I wish to experience the presence of love. So I have quite the void, though, of friendship. Quite the void of friendship. And quite the damage of friendship. And quite the damage of meaning and purpose. It's just been a fucking struggle to get out of that environment, and to be secure enough to accept my own potential. I mean, it's fucking just been a struggle, and a lot of damage was done. And so all I wish is just that on the path of goodness that I'm on, I just hope that I continue to do the right thing, and that I continue to spread goodness and share goodness and have it reflected back to me. And then maybe the depth of that goodness will be reflected. Not to say that this is shallow in any way, but just that the depth of the pain feels like it'll never be balanced out. I'm just constantly moved. Constantly. I'm so grateful. I'm like in a public park and there's a million people walking by. I'm just constantly, I'm just so grateful, but I'm also, you know, it's like I just came back from a war. It feels like I come back from a war, and just taking a shower, and I'm like sitting down to eat in a cafe, and I'm just like, but people are being really nice to me, and that's kind of how it feels all the time. I'm just like, wait a second, I'm not like this is safe. It's just, I'm not used to it. I'm just relieved. I'm just relieved, and yet I still obviously have some things that have not yet been relieved, but for the most part, I'm being relieved every day. Sounds like I'm like going to the bathroom. I'm relieving myself. But yeah, I'm sitting here in London. I've been traveling for 3 weeks now, because I was traveling in the States, and then there's just been so much regeneration happening that it is overwhelming. I mean, it's fucking overwhelming. And yet I am rising to the occasion very well. I just, it's just a lot to internalize and a lot to accept, like basically have the humility, essentially, the humility to say, my pain is not that special or profound. I am not so special or especially different that I can't integrate into society. I'm not so broken or gross or and untouchable. I literally I am welcomed in community and in in many hearts and at so many people. And I felt like a lost child for a very long time, all my life pretty much. But it feels like I am not, as abandoned as I thought. And I'm not abandoning myself anymore. And I feel like I've achieved a great level of healing, and I just long for the day when I can say that my heart feels soothed as well. Because I'm almost afraid to imagine what I feel might be inevitable future. Just in the way my life is going, it's going so well. Why wouldn't I be able to achieve everything I want? It's just really hard to imagine, lifelong needs. But it's like I can't, just more and more, I cannot ignore the evidence that people actually do care about me. A lot of people. And that I can be safe. I have to put effort into it, but I can be safe and healthy and prosperous. And this whole time of traveling all these new places, all these locations, all these trains, all these planes, all these things, all this food, like everything new, none of it, zero things have hurt me. Nothing bad has happened. And I think it's because I know how to take care of myself, and I know I've aligned myself with people that I can trust. And I just wish I could go back and protect myself, and she didn't deserve that, you know. She didn't deserve it, man. She didn't deserve it, man. She didn't deserve it. So I'm still trying to convince her that she didn't deserve it. I didn't deserve the loneliness or the heartache or the rejections or the abuse. I didn't fucking deserve the abuse. I didn't deserve the abuse. And finally, I suppose, I was able to run around and get fucked up and get hurt by all these people. But finally, I found some safe people, and I'm like, I've just survived this war. And they're like, oh my God, you've just survived a war. Like, let me fucking take care of you. Finally. I'm just glad not to be alone. I still have a lot of, grief, but I'm just really grateful not to be alone anymore. I'd cry more if I wasn't in a public park, and it's cold out. But yeah, that's my travel vlog. It's not the most scenic. I mean, there's some stuff. There we go. Here we go. So, there. Scenery and travel updates from the journey of life.